And I apologize I didn't get to review this when it came out, and work's been really busy. I didn't get to review the sequel. I will probably, when we get another Kingsman movie, I shouldn't say when we do, if we get another one, I probably will catch up and do the second one. I'll probably review the second one at some point, but I apologize. But this is the prequel, which is very odd. We're talking a franchise that we're only 3 movies in and is at a prequel. And I was very excited about this movie, but also very cautious about this movie. So, this movie was actually shot 2 years ago, had a bunch of reshoots, which usually means the movie could have some issues. Reshoots are kind of actually normal. People make them out like they're like a death sentence to certain movies. I think that's because of like shitty movies like Suicide Squad or the Joss Whedon's version of Justice League, right? You know they they ruin those movies, right? They ruin them with the reshoots. But, you know, that doesn't mean anything. There are tons of great movies that have reshoots and you don't even notice. And this is, so, I was cautious over that because of the reshoots. You never know. Also, this movie, again, is a prequel into a franchise that, while I do like, the second one was kind of just not as quite as good as the first movie. Not a bad movie. I still liked it. But we are 3 movies in, and we're already at a prequel. So this is an odd direction to take it. But what got me excited was a couple things. The Red Band trailer they put out for this movie was phenomenal, and it was a great trailer. They really showed off Rasputin. The early reviews for this movie came out, and they were pretty damn good. Uh, and I got excited, and I'm sad to report I was disappointed. Now, I didn't hate this movie or whatever. I think it's the worst Kingsman installment in this franchise. That doesn't mean this movie's bad. It just means it's not exactly that good. My main issue with this movie is Kingsman is a dumb spy franchise, right? It's kind of a spoof, or well, not spoof, but more so like somewhat self-aware, goofy action spy movies, right? And they took this that idea and they set it during World War one of the most violent, horrific events in history. And I think that's what's wrong with this movie, is because there's a part of this movie that's a Kingsman movie, and when Rasputin's on screen, Kingsman movie. Rasputin, incredible. He's a great character in this movie, great villain. He has so much fun. The actor playing him, I think, is Ralph Fiennes. I apologize if I'm correct on that, but he does a great job. The character is so well done. Not in this movie enough. I won't say why he's not in this movie enough, but it's a spoiler. But he's not in this movie enough. All the villains in this movie were actually great. They all are part of this shadowy organization that's trying to make World War One continue on, and the Kingsman job is to go in there and stop it. And it's kind of the origins of how the Kingsman started. And I really like stuff like that. But my main issue with this movie is, like I said, when it's a Kingsman movie, this movie is great. The issue is, majority of this movie is a World War One movie, and that's because it's set during World War One. That's why I think it's a mistake in it during World War One, because a lot of the conflict is people not wanting to get involved, which is realistic to what happened in World War One. A lot of people did not want to get involved. It was a crazy world conflict, yada yada yada. But the issue is, it means that in this goofy spy action movie, I'm dealing with a lot of characters who aren't wanting to enter into a fight, which what I came for is action and goofiness. And I'm not getting that. I'm getting a lot of serious tones to this movie. And it's, and sure, it has a nice payoff at the end of the movie. Some of the, with certain characters and their arc in the movie. But it's just really irritating to have this really serious movie that shouldn't be this serious because it's the Kingsman. And I think the only way to fix it was to not have set it during World War One, or just to like make it crazier, make it goofier. Like if you're gonna set it through World War One, just make it a more ridiculous type of World War One. I don't know, but yeah, I was disappointed with the direction of this movie. It just I would say once it got into the third act and the action started, that was great. Once you see the fight scenes with Rasputin, any scene with Rasputin, phenomenal. But just to get there was just unfortunately kind of a slog. And I think would have helped it is if this wanted to be a World War I movie. That's fine. It should have gave me more to care about with the main characters. I think the main characters were kind of weak. Eggsy is a great character in the original, and I didn't really care much for any of the characters except for a couple of them. But to be honest, this film was just disappointing. Not a bad movie. If you like the Kingsman movies, I would say it's still worth watching because there's still some enjoyable moments in this movie. It's just not as good as the other ones and kind of disappointing for what I thought it could be.